On this episode of The Bender Hour.
I heard Elvis's last words were,
Oh God, help me.
"Oh, my ass hurts. Oh, my ass hurts. I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill you."
Sometimes I look at that big shit-stained piece of underwear up on the wall and I think, that could be me.
I told you. I told you I'd kill you.
I got first steps on our brains. I'm gonna eat a colon. I'm gonna eat the poop out of the colon.
Right now. Right now. Here it comes. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. Here it comes. Here it comes. Ladies and gentlemen of the council, there's an idea that I just had in mind. He pulls his fucking gun out and blows his brains out. This episode is sponsored by the Master from Fallout. So, something I was thinking about is, this is gonna be, like, so stupid to even begin with. And I obviously, you know it's me, so this is gonna be something poop-related. So...
Another fucking poop-related. What is this, the third time now?
Maybe. So, it was making me think that, you know how, like, when babies poop, like, there's not really a smell to it, if it's like a new fucking baby?
Kind of.
That's like a thing. Like, baby, like, shits don't, like, smell until, like a couple, like, weeks in.
And then they smell fucking awful.
Yeah. But it was making me think, like, obviously, it's, like, it's not the smell. You can, like, still recognize that it's, like, a turd. And your body would not ever feel compelled to, like, eat it in any amount. Because it has no smell to it. Like, it has no smell, but it's still brown. So it makes me think, like, why do, like, humans go out of their way to eat things that are, like, brown and mushy still, that, like, aren't poop? Wouldn't we feel just as compelled, like, I don't know, maybe, like, sloppy joes or, like, curry or something?
Well, only fucking, like, monsters go after sloppy joes, for one.
I just
and
feel like...
two, curry is usually, like, orange or red.
Like, already...
There's not too many
There's poops
brown
out of those
curries.
colors. I'm just saying, there are a lot of poop-looking foods out there that people eat willingly, that look suspiciously far too close to poops.
I'm gonna have to hard disagree with that. There aren't that many foods out there that look like poop.
Can you name, like, 3 that don't?
Fried chicken.
That's like 1.
Sushi.
That depends on the sushi.
That's a fabrication.
If it has like the sweet potato filling, it could look like an orange poop.
What, like? I forget that you've had orange poop.
Once.
I've never had an orange turd in my life, so orange is not a color that I associate with poo.
Consider yourself lucky.
Now, red, on the other hand, that's a different story.
You've had a red shit? I have not.
Yeah, I've had pure red, like, several months now.
For several months?
Yeah.
They're the polished, like, pitch black turds. That's like Futurama, and it's like a fucking, like, solid, dense, like, ball of antimatter. I'd be, like, pissed. Yeah, like I said, there's just too much poop-looking food out there, and it's kind of, like, disgusting. It shouldn't be the case. And there's, like, just, like, honestly, too many, like, just unappetizing-looking foods in general. Like, I'm not a big fan of foods that are just, like, a wave of, like, browns and dark greens.
Such as?
Yeah, so basically, when I see foods of that color, I just, like, don't... Like, I feel like the opposite of, like, you know, like, hungry. It completely ruins my appetite. Like, when I see, like...
You're just a baby.
Like, when I see, like big, fat, like, you know, like, boiled peppers, like, I don't want to eat that.
Boiled peppers?
I don't know, like, whatever the fuck. Like, cooking a big pepper.
What do you know that's boiling peppers?
I don't know.
Can you name one time anyone's ever served you boiled peppers before? That's not a real thing.
I think it's likely a real thing somewhere.
Maybe if it's like the Great Depression and all you have is a fucking bucket of water to cook with, that might be the case.
You like definitely know what I'm talking about, though. There's just like too many gross looking foods, especially like elsewhere in the world, and like that doesn't even like begin to open up shit on like stuff that's like made out of like a bird's nest, or like like virgin soup, or it's like little boy pee or something, or like testicles. Like I don't know how people eat like bull testicles. Like that's like a delicacy in like several countries for some reason.
They're freaks.
Like the fact that there's people out there that eat bull testicles and like various degrees of penises from animals. Like fucking like why? There's
What about
so
that one picture of just like the horse vagina on a plate?
Yeah, that's so like just fucking like nasty. Like serving up like 3 like cooking horse vaginas. But, like seriously, there's like so much meat on like these animals out there, and you got to go after the one thing that like your brain should honestly be like fairly hardwired not to want to bite into. Like human beings are already like so protective of like their genitals, like in the event that like something like that would happen.
And when you see like something else getting its genitals mutilated, you have like that second hand,
yeah, like that visceral reaction. But no, people eat this shit, and that's fucking nasty. I
think animal genitalia and bugs are probably like the only 2 things that I will never try to eat.
What about tongue?
I'd give tongue a try. I've heard it's not bad. The only problem is you'd have to cook it for like fucking 12 hours because it's so tough. Like you really have to cook it for a really long time to get it to be like soft enough to even eat.
What if there's anybody that like eats like colon, like cow colon, like make a disgusting haggis out of like a cow's fucking like colon and asshole?
I mean, I feel like people have a general like it's one thing to eat fucking genitalia, but to eat the actual shit organ is I don't think that's something that any culture has ever like gone that far off the deep end with.
You tell me that like with like full confidence, knowing that like you've seen videos of like people eating like cow dung and like pulling it out of the stomach to like eat the dung. They will fucking eat anything. I think that, honestly the purpose is to like
video
be
the
disgusting.
guy like with the fucking like the cow pie like in the field of grass and he's on all fours eating it.
Like, fuck that. So nasty.
But I mean, like, we use like intestines is traditionally how you make sausages, right? Like you put the ground up meat into intestines, so that's probably like the closest you're gonna get. I'm sure at one point someone used large intestines to make sausage, and they included the colon with that.
Oh, imagine you got like the dookie end of the sausage. You'd have like no idea. Like you see those pictures where it's like a fucking like that famous one of like that French soldier in like World War I, and he like lifts his shirt and he's like got a whole fucking bandolier of sausages.
Yeah.
That picture always kind of bothered me because I imagine like obviously you're gonna get what you're gonna fucking like take what you get, but like all those pieces are gonna be covered in like felt and like hair and fucking toenail clippings and shit because it's just been wrapped around this guy in like a trench all day.
I mean, on the plus side though, the felt and the hair is gonna burn when you cook it. Like it's just gonna like turn into nothing and burn away.
Yeah, I don't think you can just destroy matter like that.
All you've been eating like that entire this fucking World War I, all you've been eating is rations and other like horrible dried foods that are made to like be preserved. So when the fucking Sausage Man shows up with some fresh sausage, you're not gonna care about any hair or lint on it.
To be fair, depending on where you were in World War I, there's a chance that you could have been eating like relatively normal meals that weren't just like pure ration based like awfulness. You could have potentially been eating like a regular ass like soup with like carrots and greenery and meat and shit. You could have been eating like a king for like someone in such a shitty condition. this idea that like you could just like vaporize the disgusting shit, like boiling it. Like sure you're like making it cleaner, but that would just like
well,
be
if you
broiled
boil
in, like, this...
sausages, you're a fucking animal.
I don't know what other choice you're gonna have in the trench.
I'll make a fucking like fire, cook it over a fire.
I don't think you want to like have that kind of attention.
Does it really matter? I mean, the enemy knows where your trench is. Like, they know where you are. It's fucking World War One.
Well, sure, they know where you are, but the whole point is, like, they gotta know, like, if you're active or not. Like, if you got a fire going, they know you're awake.
Yeah, but if it's daytime, are they gonna be able to see it when it's in the trench?
Yeah, they're watching with binoculars.
And there's ways to cook to make fires that hide the fire. Like, you dig a hole... and you have another hole that acts as an air vent.
Yeah, all the digging that they're doing already, they probably don't want to dig anymore for like the fire.
All the digging that they're doing already, like why not dig a little bit more so you can have a fucking fire?
Well, considering that I've not seen a single image where someone makes one of these magical anti-smoke holes in World War I, I'm gonna have to like assume it's like a farce. They're definitely using like portable stoves. Like a George Foreman.
Yeah, like an electric stove. They definitely had gas ovens in the trench.
I wonder how many kills you can rack up if you just put like one F-35 at like fucking like the peak of World War One.
Like the Battle of Somme.
Yeah. There's just one F-35. Like I don't know who you're gonna give it to. Unless it's just still given to like America and they're just allowed to like free bomb everybody, including like...
Does it come with a pilot?
It comes with a pilot.
So like a modern day jet pilot.
Yes.
Who is trained to use the F-35.
Yes.
He could probably, I mean, he could realistically keep going until he runs out of ammo.
And I guess considering
that's his limit. That's the only limitation. Those things, F-35s, they don't dogfight. They literally fly like miles away from a battlefield and use computerized systems to like have precision strikes. Like the enemy trench isn't gonna see this fucking thing coming.
I guess just to make things a little bit like funnier. What if like we swap out the F-35 with like an A-10 to make it a little bit more personal? Just like slightly more personal. Have a fucking Wardog going over with his machine gun to just like devastate the trenches. You think it would be able to rack up like 100,000 like death toll if you just gave this thing like enough fuel to operate for like 24 hours straight?
What about enough ammo?
Yeah, if it had like a full fucking like, you know...
Like, can it, like, get more ammo?
Yeah, I'd say it can, like, land, like, an airfield.
See, did they have flak cannons in World War One?
No.
So they're pretty much fucked. There's no way they're scoring a hit. Like, it would be a 1 in a million if someone managed to get a hit on this thing.
It's like asking if there's flak cannons in the war that like defined like aerial combat. Like, you were lucky if you got a gun that had like a fucking anti-air sight on it.
I mean, those are the days too when pretty much every anti-air ammo was incendiary, right? Because everything was made of wood and paper.
Yeah.
Like, that's gonna do nothing to this aluminum fucking plane. That is relatively more armored than its contemporaries because it gets so close to battlefields.
Yeah, and the fucking cockpit glass is gonna be bulletproof too.
Yeah.
God, that'd be like so fucked. Because I'm just imagining if this thing like all of a sudden just like showed up at just like, you know, the peak of that battle, and all of a sudden like that thing just came up like the and just completely let loose. I think there'd be like mass mutinies. Like word would spread, and I think the war would like come to a fucking end.
There would definitely be mass hysteria on whatever is the receiving side of it when they hear about this fucking magical machine.
It could be funny to assume that this like A10's going after everybody. It's just like indiscriminately firing on both sides. You know, both sides like talking like, oh, you know, it's the Krauts, it's the fucking French.
And then suddenly it does a U-turn and it starts coming towards them.
Completely lays loose. Like
flies back to Switzerland to refuel.
Ugh. Yeah. Like, that'd be such an asshole jump. You're going from like wooden frame fucking triplanes to like a jet fighter. You know, the craziest part is that, you know, the Wright brothers are obviously still going to be alive. They're going to like hear about this. You think like the Wright brothers would be like hunted down? They'd just be like made a scapegoat for like no particular reason. Because like they brought this technology upon like man. I feel like that, like, just like the early like 1900s, like that would be the kind of time where something like that could happen. Like they would like lynch the Wright brothers.
Like why didn't we like go after Oppenheimer when the fucking Cold War started?
The problem is like no one knew about him until like the movie.
It'd be like a real like shit flinging thing too, because I'm pretty sure it was in. I think it was in either 1910 or 1911 that one of the Wright brothers said that it would take like 100 years of plane development to get a plane that could fly across the Atlantic Ocean.
Dumb shits.
So now it's like 1917. And there's a fucking jet aircraft in the air with computerized systems.
Like every technology on board that vehicle is like 70 years ahead of like anything being fielded on the Earth at that moment.
On the off chance that either side capture this thing, do you even think they'd be able to reverse engineer it?
I don't think they'd have like the available tools to properly like dissect it without destroying it. Like, and even if they did, if somehow managed to like take the whole thing apart successfully, like, what would they do? Like, how do you use like 1910 technology to like build a fucking radar dome?
Yeah, how do they figure out what the point of like the computing chips on it are?
Yeah, that is like such a massive leap in logic. I mean, although granted, you know, it is like a thing where we usually don't give, like, you know, people from older generations, you know, enough credit. You know, if like the fucking Greeks were able to come up with that horrible, like, astronomical computer on like, that was just like a bunch of fucking, like pulleys and valves. Maybe they can like figure out what how the computer works.
Yeah, but still, like in 1914 and 1917, like, did they even have computerized calculators?
No.
Like, they don't know what a computer is.
Well, I mean, I guess to be like, when did the term like was the term computer like used? Because like computing had to have like been a term. Obviously, like, it wasn't like a digitized computer, but
that's like, what are you gonna stretch the term computer to like a fucking abacus?
I mean, that is technically a
computer. It is a computer, but yeah, but that's not what I'm talking about here.
Abacus. Yeah, I don't think they'd be able to capture this thing. Period.
Like, it's not really until like at most like what the 1940s when you start having those like fucking computer rooms.
Yeah, like an actual.
And that's even like kind of like pushing it. That might be more like a 1950s thing.
No, there were computers by like the late 40s, but let's say this, because if this thing like reached the battlefield, this thing was like completely wreaking havoc on both sides. I think there would have to be a kind of ceasefire
to like. Yeah, they'd have to start working together to try to take this thing out.
And I think, like, just based on how these fucking, like, knuckleheads handled their war, they'd probably like, order all of their troops to, like, lay on their backs and try to shoot this thing down, like, classic style. Like, wherever you hear the noise, Get on your back, point your gun, and fire. And that would be
like
something.
They're fucking like duck hunting.
Yes, like imagine you had like 100,000 troops like lined up on the fucking like on like the front, all laying on their backs, just shooting up, like a volley fire at the A10. I think statistically it would have to get a couple hits on it.
Would any penetrate?
Maybe. I mean, those. I mean, you gotta remember those like were big ass bullets.
And all it takes from this A10 is just like a few MIRVs. To just completely decimate this force on the ground.
Well, I mean, it's either like, you know, them or the A10. If they don't like take this thing out, it's gonna fucking like wipe out their country. They're lucky that's not heading after like the head of government and instead choosing to just like rack up a KD on the fucking front lines. I don't know. I think even like with that many people volley firing at it, I think they would at least get a couple like holes on the wings. It would still be like operational. Unless there was some like absolute miracle shot where they managed to like hit a fucking like missile flung underneath the wing and like blew it up. In which case I can't even imagine what that would like mean for aviation development if they're able to like capture that thing and reverse engineer it like we said, or like attempt to reverse engineer it. We'd have a bunch of like insane cargo cult like A10 knockoffs made out of fucking like wood and like sheet metal that are being like prototyped by like Britain as they're desperately trying to like recreate the fucking like A10's bullet. Like they're trying to make like a 20mm cartridge.
Like thinking now is about like the last thoughts of that pilot after that fucking missile gets detonated. Like he really thought he was fucking safe.
Yeah, he thought he was hot shit.
Gets that 1 in a million shot that blows his wing off.
It'd be even more stupid if like the response to the A10 is since they couldn't shoot it down, they like end up investing into like those barrage balloons like way earlier. And just the entire battlefield is just filled with those like explosive laden balloons in the hope that the A10 will like crash into one and like snag it and blow up. I don't know if that would like work. The A10 would probably just fly higher. That shit can operate like way too high for them. Damn. It's like, I feel like if you go any higher than like A10, it's just gonna become like there's like nothing you could do. I think the A10 is probably like the best mix of like hilarity,
it's the most balanced.
Yeah, like in a way, I feel like there's the slightest chance that it could be defeated.
If you put up like a spooky.
Oh, now, that would be like fucking terrifying. I don't know like what that would take. I mean, it would be slower moving. It would definitely be like visible. I mean, it's like the same gun, isn't it? As an A10, it's like the same.
Is it?
I think. It's just like I think that's like an easier kill technically. I don't know what kind of sights you'd need to line up a shot to like hit it that far away.
They only built 53 spookies.
And how many did we fucking lose in Vietnam? Like 12? We lost like 12 in Vietnam, and I think we lost like 1 in Afghanistan. Like, how many A10s have we lost? So we're bumping up the spooky. That's more like a fucking downgrade. This like evil entity that wants to just like wipe out like everyone participating in World War I's not gonna be able to like cash out. See, it wouldn't be like, because I guess if you gave like one modern soldier, like just dropped like one like U.S. Special Forces soldier with like a Kevlar body armor, like helmet, and like a fucking M4 with like an underslung grenade launcher. Like he'd probably be able to kill maybe like a dozen people. But like those bullets are still bullets, and I feel like they would definitely like fucking break his ribs and like knock the air out of his lungs if they hit him with it. He'd probably die of internal bleeding, so like it wouldn't even matter. Now, if you drop something like an Abrams into there, I think we'd have a different story. Like, sure, artillery can get it, but imagine that. Like a computerized fucking vehicle shooting high explosive, like, into the trenches.
It really all comes down to, like, if this thing can get resupplied. Because the only option that a World War I unit is gonna have is to just keep, like, trying to set the engine on fire.
Or, like, keep trying to, like, take out the treads.
Yeah, but the Abrams has, like, automatic fire dampening. So you'd have to, like, run out its fire extinguishing source to, like, get that to work.
Like,
or you just better hope that a single artillery shell lands directly on the Abrams.
Yeah, you'd, like, need people. You'd have to have, like, those soldiers that, like, have the bundle of, like, stick grenades and try to, like, throw it under the tracks to, like, disable it. But even then, now it's just, like, a static computer, like, driven turret. So it's, like, still gonna fuck you up. And on top of that, it's got the... it still has, like, the stupid machine guns on top.
50 cals?
Yeah, it's got 50 cals, and it can, like, shoot off, like, the smoke grenades.
Well, once again, like, once you get the tracks out, it just becomes a stationary target, so you just keep launching artillery at it.
That's when the A-10 comes back in.
Great, this, like, third force has a combined arms ability now.
Well, that's like the whole joke. Like, it'll be a combined arms offensive. It'll be a single Iowa class battleship, a single A-10, and a single Abrams. That'll just be, like, dropped like into Europe during World War I to provide, like, shore bombardment, like aerial fucking like bombing.
Supremacy.
Yeah, aerial supremacy and, like, ground bombing. And then this tank that just completely obliterate the trench lines.
How many boats do you think that Iowa class ship is going to be able to take out?
That thing would fucking make mincemeat out of, like, those dreadnoughts. Like, it wouldn't be a question. Like, sure, like, the dreadnoughts, like, sure, they're, like, big and, like, they're armored. But these are massive fucking guns that are, like, that actually have, like, mechanical elevators and shit that can shoot, like, miles away. It would not be a contest.
Everything else gets to be, like, a modern vehicle, but the ship is still a battleship.
It's because I feel like
completely fuck them over and give us, like, a missile carrier.
Because that's, like, a little bit too bullshit. If you give it a missile carrier, then this thing can quite literally be, like, 100 miles away. And that's just, like, I gotta, like, give it the Iowa to, like, give them a fighting chance. I don't know. I'm not sure what it would take to, like, defeat that combination. It just 3 vehicles. The Abrams would definitely be the first to go. I think the Iowa would, like, probably single-handedly, like, wrest control of the entire, like, entirety of Europe. I don't think anything could beat that.
Yeah, the English Channel would just be completely shut off. Not only could this thing probably fight off any boat that it comes in contact with, like, before the boat even has a chance to fire on it, but it actually has flat cannons on it as well. So any plane that tries to get close to it is just gonna get blown out of the fucking sky. You got fucking paper plane getting shot by a fucking, like, 8.8 centimeter flat cannon.
Like, imagine like the A-10 and, like, the tank weren't there, and it's, like, just the Iowa, and, you know, like, the combined nations,
like, pirates
Europe,
on it.
Yeah, the combined nations of, like, Europe are like, it's like, how are we gonna destroy this thing? Like, our boats are no good. It's like, we're gonna have to. It's like, let's send out a fleet of these newfangled aircraft to, like, get a sneak attack on it from above. And they just fly over, and they just completely unaware of, like, the flat cannon capability. They get shredded. Ow.
Take Blackbeard's crew, train them on how this Iowa class battleship works, and then just release them into World War I. They would be unstoppable.
They'd win.
You think they still try to board other boats?
I'd hope not. That'd be like, like, fuck them over, honestly. Like, they, like, fucking Blackbeard's, like, standing there folding his arms like the Treaty of Versailles. It's, like, really stupid about those, like, ships is that, have you ever seen what, like, the bathrooms look like on those battleships?
No.
It's like a giant public laboratory, and one of the seats is red to indicate where like the STD bitch would sit. If you had like gonorrhea or something disgusting, you had to sit on that chair, so like you wouldn't contaminate the other seats with your fucking like your AIDS.
You really just gotta out yourself to the entire crew.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you get what you deserve. Like, that was during the time when, like, everything was like, don't sleep with, like, loose women. So, like, if you really, like, earned the red seat, like, that's your own damn fault.
I'm pretty sure they've, like, proven that STDs really can't be transmitted from toilet seats.
Yeah, like, they didn't know that back then. It was better safe than sorry, and it's also like really funny, just like fucking like fuck this guy over. Yep. There's the STD, bitch. All right, we'll do that. How about we just give like Russia fucking like a fucking satellite during World War One.
What is that gonna do for them? Do they also get a station that can like take in its information?
Yes.
Do you train them in how to use this thing?
They can you can basically pinch and move it around as if it's Google Maps.
I don't think that's gonna help Russia too much. Because they still have the problem of them not having food or guns or ammo. It's like, great, they know where the Germans are, but they can't do anything.
Okay. It's like...
And then the Germans are gonna capture that like, satellite station, and they're gonna get control of it.
Okay. There's like a big red button the Russians can press, which will like shoot fucking like jets out and like deorbit the fucking satellite and like crash it into Berlin. But since it's only like 10 feet long, it's really not gonna like do all too much. It's gonna like mostly burn up in the atmosphere and just kind of like hit down like a fucking like tin can.
Give the Russians a satellite that has rods of God on it.
Oh, it only has 2 shots. They have to make it count.
They probably use both of them instantly and like miss their targets.
They both like land right in right in Moscow. Sad. Like, we'll be like, is there anything like funnier you can like give these people to like just ruin the tide of war? Maybe like a naval laser.
Not to harp on something that we've already talked about, but the only other thing you could do is probably one of those drones with those fletched rounds in it.
Oh, that would scare the hell out of people.
People in the trench are just dropping dead, and you don't even hear anything in the sky or like see anything.
So you just like blown the smithereens, reduced to like a fucking mangled mesh.
Oh, maybe it's time we change course here.
Oh, what did you have in mind?
Something that you might like this, because this is really stupid. This is gonna sound like something that we've probably talked about off Bender, but I don't think we actually have.
Let's hear it.
It's something that I learned recently, that the very famous movie Bubba Hotep had several planned sequels. I don't know if you knew about this.
I did not.
And I'm not fucking around with this. This is a real thing. So the guy who made it originally had a planned sequel, but never really got it off the ground because like studios kept fucking with him. But recently, I guess he just said fuck it, and he just released it as a comic. And I'm assuming that the comic is supposed to be what the movie was. So the comic book is Elvis versus aliens. And according to the director, his entire idea was to make a a what's the word I'm looking for here? Like a MCU type thing, like
MCU.
fuck. But basically, he was gonna make a whole
like a cinematic universe.
Like a cinematic universe style thing, where it was just gonna be Elvis fighting various supernatural entities.
Great.
I figured you would have liked to hear that, considering all the fucking like Elvis talk we've had. I'm fairly certain that is something that we've gone over before.
What, having him fight aliens?
Like, having him fight aliens, having him fight, like, just anything. I mean, we had the whole fucking, like, League of Elvi scenario.
Elvi. Too many Elvi. It was just like a funny figure.
And a deep war that our universe is slated for destruction from the League of Elvi.
No, I'm just glad you remember that, because I honestly do not remember, like, a thing other than, like, the name. I do not remember who, like, made up the Elvi outside of just like generic Elvises.
It was just a whole bunch of... It was founded by several Elvises from other universes, where on their world they were the most intelligent people, and they actually created a multi-dimensional engines that could allow them to go into other universes, and they met and they created the League, and then they started going to other universes and inviting the Elvis there. But our universe is slated for destruction because we live in one of the only ones where Elvis died.
Just like so impressive, like just considering his lifestyle.
Because our universe is like one of the only ones where he like became a drug addict. Usually he's like a president or a scientist or a doctor.
It's like ours is one of the few where he's like Bat Elvis.
Yeah.
Kind of sad. Yeah, like what kind of like things would like the League of Elvi even like attempt to accomplish as like a unified block? Like what would
we
they
ever
have?
like got that far?
Like what would they want?
Like what's their purpose?
Yeah, so they just like dick around in like a giant like floating Graceland in space. I just picture it be like just like 10,000 of them like taking up way too much capacity than like the space station can hold, and they're all just like talking over one another, like, oh, gonna what's happening? And then finally, you know, like the bell rings and they all like scurry into this gigantic round table. The Council of the Elva will now come in. What will be the pressing matters of the council today? And like shuffles around like his like stupid like fucking loose leaf paper. He's like, there's not enough peanut butter banana jelly sandwiches. And like,
like one of them raises their hands and they point him out and he goes like, oh, I'm getting fucking hungry over here.
And he raises his hands like, Elvi number 76. I'm getting pretty fucking hungry. Can we wheel around the food cart a little bit over here? You know? And like just like some hot bimbo comes around with like a cart just covered with fucking peanut butter banana sandwiches. And he just like grabs two, goes akimbo on them, and just starts stuffing them in his mouth like, oh. Very well.
Takes a bite out of one and then takes a bite out of the other one.
And he puts them both back on the tray.
He takes one bite each and gets rid of them. I'm full.
I fill me up. I was like, alright. Pressing matter number 2. How do we extend the life of rock and roll?
Pardon me, fella. I think I just said number 2.
And like they're all like heads perk up like fucking meerkats, like number 2, number 2, number 2. And they, you know, all of their seats are like
nod in agreement.
It's like number 2 is like a fucking taboo word for them, because basically the story of what happened to our Earth's Elvis is kind of like a horrifying, like it's like a horror story to them.
It's like a wives' tale.
Yeah, like every like day they fucking turn around and they salute the fucking stained
fallen Elvis.
the stained shit underwear of like our dead Elvis, like that's hung up on the wall. I don't know, like what Elvis song would specifically be like their like national anthem? Yeah.
I there's too many good songs to choose from.
Like, what is the definitive Elvis song?
The Elvis song?
Yeah. Gotta like look it up.
Man. I mean, he's got blue suede. I mean, blue suede shoes is probably like the thing that like today he's most known for. But, you know, you got a fucking hunk of burning love.
That would be like a really stupid one to sing as like a song of memorial.
You got Way Down. I think Way Down might be a good memorial song for Elvis.
I think it'd be really stupid and out of place if they were singing in the ghetto.
Like the recording of Elvis singing Dixie.
Yeah, it was like his shit pants are like flowing in the wind. And like in the ghetto.
In the ghetto.
Oh boy. I heard Elvis's last words were.
Oh God, help me.
Oh, my ass hurts. Oh, my ass hurts.
Oh.
I'm gonna die.
Don't wanna die, virgin.
Don't wanna die, virgin. He's like punching his gut to try to like force the poop out.
It was even the shit that killed him.
It's debatable. I mean, maybe his last words are, "Don't shoot me." It's like a fucking silenced barrel like comes creeping in through like a fucking like tile in the roof. Don't shoot me.
Fucking a painting on the wall moves over and a fucking blow dart like comes out of the wall.
Yeah, like the eyes of like a painting like face him.
Oh my God.
Oh.
What's in there?
So like, how would the Council of Elvis handle stopping like the threat of any other Elvis like potentially dying in such a horrific fate?
Have to like go to the other universes where Elvis is like a boxer or some sort of like soldier or something, and then just make like a fucking Elvis detachment force that prowls the universe.
The Grand Army of Graceland.
Yeah. Shouldn't be too far off from our universe where Elvis actually did serve in the army.
It's just like stupid
in a tank
to think
crew, no less.
that like our Elvis dies, yet these Elvis are all clearly just living the same exact life of gluttony, and they get away with it.
That makes our Elvis's tale all the more like harrowing for them, because they can like see themselves in him. Sometimes I look at that big shit stained piece of underwear up on the wall, and I think
I could be me wearing that next. That could have been all of us. Here, here.
Pass me some of that butter, will ya? Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. I'm gonna bring out that food cardigan, you big titted bitch. It takes a look like the two like bitten into like sandwiches.
Who the fuck's eating my food?
As if there's not like plenty for, as if it's not like a cart that has like 20 separate sandwiches on him. He just sees the two. He's like, "Who's in my food?"
Flips the whole thing over.
Who's in my food? Like stands up and starts chasing the woman around like the table as everyone's like hooting and hollering. I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna kill you.
Come back here so I can fucking ring out on my guy.
I'm gonna ring out. Everyone help me. Everyone help me. Like all like 100 Elvis like, stand up and they're chasing her. By the end of it, like every single sandwich is picked clean and her body is reduced to a sparkling skeleton. I told you. I told you I'd kill you.
I got first steps on my brains.
Oh man, yeah, they're really afraid of death, and he just goes in and does that. First steps on the brains. in her brains. And then like one's like eating like her whole heart. My stomach's hurting. My stomach's hurting.
I'm feeling good. I'm sweating. I'm bad.
He's like sweating profusely, like skin's turning purple. He's like hard of breathing.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
All the other
those brains.
All the other Elvises are like standing over him. Just like watching.
Wide-eyed. They're pale in the face. Completely. Even though they like had the brains to make a multi-dimensional engine, none of them know how to like fix this one Elvis.
I don't know, like can you like fix like Prion? I don't know.
They could try to like go to another. I mean, like prion diseases are like instant acting. It's gonna take him like 10 years to die from it.
Okay, that was an entire brain.
I don't think that matters.
It's also like Elvis.
I'm gonna eat a cone. I'm gonna eat the poop out of the cone.
I'm gonna squeeze the poop out of colon. Not if I get it first.
Who said that?
Who said that?
Who the fuck was it?
Ghosts. Like all of them are terrified, completely pale, frozen. Who said that? Who the fuck said that? We got a code hound dog. You see in the station. Like press a button. Like all start running around completely aimlessly, like just running into fucking like each other. Like there's like 3 escape pods, and they just like jettison away. All 3 crash
without
into each
anyone in them.
They all like crash into each other like they're the fucking rockets from like Repcon. And they all like every Elvis.
I never played that quest. That quest sucks.
Every Elvis is like looking out the window, like fucking mouth wide open, like watching that happen. And then finally, one Elvis is like, "I got an idea! I got an idea!" And he's like, opens the fucking airlock. Oh!
I think it's gonna lock the air in, so we won't die. Let me open this real quick.
Like 86% of the Elvi population gets sucked out into the back into space before like they're able to close it. It's all looking good.
This is a dark day in Elvis history.
In Elvis history. They have to like hold like an emergency meeting. What just fucking happened? Like, you know, it's like really stupid.
This whole thing started because they were at an emergency meeting.
You know, it's crazy. Like you mentioned before, there's like presidents and like doctors and whatever. Like, there's somehow not a single one intelligent enough to be like a leader of like any like noticeable quality. They're all just the same like retard Elvis. Like just as good at dying, if not worse. Like,
gentlemen, I have terrible news.
Terrible news.
Out of 10,000 Elvi, only 2,000 remain.
These numbers are not sustainable. I propose. It's like one of them like stands up. It's like, you Elvis 19. I propose we fuck the shit out of the stewardess and make little Elvis babies. And like they just look over the skeleton.
That's a good idea, but there's only one problem.
Yeah, look over the skeleton. Like she's already fucked. It ain't happening, Big Shot. We're gonna need a way to make our babies a reality.
Me over here, I got an idea. Me.
Folks, there's an idea.
He's like raising his hand.
Yeah,
jumping
you
up
over there.
and down in his seat.
You over there.
Like,
Presley number
nobody's
7.
coming.
Presley number 7. What the fuck you want?
I think we're gonna all just fuck each other in the butt.
And like, come on, fuck each other in the butt, fuck each other in the butt. And like, finally, like, one of them's just like, fellas, ladies and gentlemen of the council, there's an idea that I just had in mind. He pulls his fucking gun out and blows his brains out. They all just like look at him, eyes, fucking mouth dropped again. This is getting out of hand.
Pulls out like the gold encrusted like Nixon gun.
It just takes himself out. The living will envy the dead.
You look up and see that like the bullet went through his head and like hit a fucking like a plexiglass like viewport, and it's like cracked.
Oh no.
Oh my god.
I know how to fix it. And like the Elvis like it climbs up a ladder and starts punching the glass.
He like runs at it at full speed and jumps right into it.
He does a fucking jump kick, completely cracks it and goes through. Ends up in outer space. Another like 500 Elvis gets sucked out. Like what remains? Like fucking like 20 of them. There's like 20 Elvi left in the like. It's like fucking 100 Elvises just left the station. It's like a flurry of bodies like hovering around.
They're like forming like a fucking belt around the station.
Alright, fellas. I think in light of today's recent disaster, I recommend holding an emergency meeting at once. Like sitting at the table again. Like, it's clear there.
It's like very clearly like it's still the same table from before that's meant for like over 100 of them.
Sitting there, and there's like it's clear to me that like one of them's like, excuse me, I'm getting pretty fucking hungry over here. Like they're just completely helpless. Not like the stewardess is like dead.
They're like ringing the bell for her to bring out food. Like,
dinner.
Ding, ding, ding,
Come on, where's my food?
Where's my food?
Dinner time.
Where's that stupid bitch at?
Where's that bitch?
Where did she go? Meanwhile, like her skeleton like got sucked out in the last evacuation, so like they don't even like they forgot that she's dead already.
Where's that?
Like, where is she?
Ungrateful bitch.
Where the fuck is she?
Where is she?
I need my peanut butter.
I'm gonna starve. Right now. Here comes. I'm gonna die. Here comes.
And he just keeps saying that. He never stops.
He's like panicking. So eventually one of the other Elvises that's like slightly more.
Come over with like a baseball bat, like knock him in the back of the head with it.
Just to put him down. It's like, okay, I think we've quieted down a bit. I think we need a new plan to propagate our nation of Elvi. We're gonna need some swift and decisive action. We're gonna have to land on an Earth and breed a lot of women. How do we get to Earth?
Where's
Earth? Computer.
Where are we?
Plot a course. Plot the fastest course to Earth. And like the computer comes on. Like,
I think Earth is this way.
The computer. It's like calculating. Fastest route to Earth is oh, this way. And the jets go to full force as it throttles directly towards Earth. And all the Elvises, they see Earth like,
slow down! Slow down!
Slow down, they're running around, hands in the air, screaming. This thing is going like 5,000 miles an hour. Like, they were like actually like in orbit above Earth the whole time.
The whole time.
It's like hurtling towards the planet. Slow down, computer, slow down. What the fuck is the computer do? Is this like ignoring orders? Like, I'm afraid I can't do that, Mr. Presley.
It's either that or it's just gonna be like a recreation of the fucking like ludicrous speed. Like it stops on a dime and they all go like splattering into the fucking wall.
We need to slow down first. Bullshit.
Bullshit.
Like slams on the brakes. And he's hurtling out like another like thing of windows. Fucking crazy.
Surprised like still have any left.
You know what's really dumb is that all of this could be traced back to that original Elvis like taking a bite out of the 2 sandwiches and putting them back on the tray. Like that was really the fucking like the catalyst for all of this. The catalyst. There's like maybe like 7 Elvi left here. One's like knocked out from the bat.
He's like hemorrhaging.
he's like blood pooling at the back of his head.
Completely like going untreated despite the presence of Dr. Elvis's.
And he's just like, oh, on the ground. It's like convulsing. It's like great. Like they like land. Graceland like just crash lands on Earth. They all step out. And they're just like approaching women on the street. It's, you know, it's like modern day.
Hey,
so,
baby. Let's have sex.
Let me breed you. Save the Elvis species. I'm an endangered breed. You wanna suck my penis a little? And, like one Elvis is like approaching like a man. Hey there, sweetheart. Wanna do your part to saving the species? Guy's like, get the fuck away from me. Oh, here's a feisty one.
I want to play hard again.
So like after 24 hours, only 3 Elvi are successful in like having sex. 2 of which did it with a man.
It's still like better numbers than I was imagining.
But like, 2
after
of them,
24 hours.
the thing is like 2 of them fucked each other, and like one like managed to like fuck like a woman. So you know, I happen to be in this happen to stumble into this this hospital for the disabled. And I just happened to see this Sleeping Beauty. I think a coma, they said. And then like one of the Elvises like just in a fucking like sudden like stroke of realization, like, how's she gonna give birth in a coma like that?
We gotta wake her up.
We gotta wake her up. Like slapping her around, like jumping up and down her fucking gut. Wake up, bitch! Wake up, bitch! One of them without like skipping a beat, one shits in his hand and like puts it up to her nose. Wake up! Wake up!
And fellas, I think I know. I think this machine's keeping her asleep. We gotta pull the plug.
We're gonna pull the plug. The rhythmic beeping is keeping her in a trance-like state. We're gonna pull the plug.
Good thinking. Good thing I do it.
That would wake anybody up, and they look at her. No dice. I think we gotta perform the Heimlich. And they all just start like performing the Heimlich like on each other. Oh. Like so stupid. Like everything went wrong.
I think we're all out of options. What do we do?
Like they see like one Elvis just like completely like frozen looking out the window. Like, what is it? What is it? And they look out there. It's like the Memphis sperm bank. I think I just found the solution to all our trouble. And they go out, like, and there's like a transition. There's like a little like transition, and they all come out of the sperm banks, all holding like vials of cum.
They all like all of their like stomachs are like visibly bulging.
Yeah, none of them deposited. They all withdrew. I gotta admit, Mr. Presley, this has been a great idea.
I really hit my hunger right in the right spot.
What are you gonna name them? I'm thinking Elvis. What if it's a girl? And like the 6th Elvis look back at the 7th, and they just beat the shit out of him.
They beat him to death.
They fucking beat him within an inch of his life and leave him writhing on the ground.
No, don't hurt me, don't hurt my baby.
Don't hurt my baby. I'm in the ghetto.
Well, it's been dealt with. We just gotta wait 9 months.
Yeah. Like, there's like no, like, in 15 minutes, all this happened. There's no way they're lasting 9 months.
to find out that they weren't pregnant.
They just, like, drank fucking, like, 2 gallons worth of cum from the sperm bank. I was like, oh, that would explain how I got this. Like, I drank 2 gallons of cum from the sperm bank t-shirt. That's it. Damn.
I gotta go. Pause. I got good news.
Oh.
After that visit to the sperm bank, I passed my HIV test. I got a positive. I passed.
I passed. Congratulations. Isn't that bad?
What?
What? Huh? What?
I think you need to shut your mouth right fucking now.
That's like the Dr. Elvis, like, saying that one. Oh, you better shut your mouth. You don't know fucking shit about nothing. You'd be better off dead. Like, they go back to like their ship. They forget it's completely crashed. We're gonna die out here. Yeah, some fucking League of Elvis. Like, they got nothing accomplished.
You
know, the funny thing is,
league of like super geniuses.
like, these are super geniuses for like Elvis's. Like, the dumb thing is, like, they did accomplish one thing. They wanted to like increase the amount of fucking peanut butter banana sandwiches. Then like the cart rolls out, and then it all just ended.
Like, they all go to like fucking like breed and like get pregnant on Earth, even though they have a machine that lets them just like go to other universes to get more Elvises.
Like, maybe it started out of intelligent Elvises, but through like the dilution,
like, got diluted.
Yeah, like all of the fucking comfort like reverted them back to their primal like Elvis state of being totally helpless.
It's either that or like they got kicked out by like the dumber Elvises.
Ugh.
Like, took power through like popularity. They had like the smart ones all fucking like summarily executed.
Shout out the airlock. Damn.
This whole story happens like 10 minutes after the final super genius Elvis got sent out to the airlock.
And, you know, they never even got to try to like extend the life of fucking rock and roll. Like, you know, they could have tried to go to like alien worlds,
Their whole, like original purpose.
Yeah, like, you know, they could have tried to go to like alien worlds or maybe like other realities of Earth where like rock and roll wasn't invented, and try to like, you know, pull some like dirty shit. But no, they went down the absolute like worst path possible. And also, I'd say there's a lot of fault here, like the construction of like Space Graceland. Like, I don't know how this shit was like space worthy.
With all these windows. I mean, the ISS has like viewports and shit.
Yeah, but I just think these are very fragile ones. And just the fact that, like, one of them just had, like, a gun on board. Like, I don't know how that was allowed.
It was like a green tip round, too. It was armor piercing.
As if they needed it. It's fucking, like, it's a fragile space station.
Just fucking, like, death insurance.
You know, you think, like, the Space Graceland would, like, having, like, any offensive capabilities, like a fucking, like, death laser or something.
Fucking battle station.
Yeah. Like, seeing how ineffective they are just, like, living. I would like to see how they'd act in, like, a battle scenario where, like, the alarms go off and they have to, like, slide down poles, like, get to their stations.
I don't think they'd have, like, do you remember what happened when the fucking station started moving?
Okay, to be fair, that was the computer completely, like, misinterpreting what they wanted.
They couldn't keep their composure in that scenario. I don't think there's any way they're keeping their composure if they actually have to fucking, like, man up and fight something.
Yeah, first during, like, the computer bit, I was gonna have it go, like, calculating. I don't know where Earth is. It's, like, right there. First not detected. We're fucked. What would be, like, the counter to the League of Elvi? Like, the alliance of, like, Jackson.
Who?
Like a giant, like, conglomerate of Michael Jacksons.
Yeah.
They all just, like, live on a base on the moon. And they're all facing, like, similar problems. They just have one, like, young child, like steward providing all the food. Thank you.
It's much harder to, like, make jokes about them because doing the fucking Michael Jackson voice is like a bitch.
Oh, it's not that hard. I just gotta talk like this.
Problem is, like, I don't know, like, what Michael Jackson eats or, like, anything particularly funny outside of, like, maybe just having each and every one, like, burn their fucking nose off. Like, there's not a single, like, prime Jackson. Like, every single one is, like, the late stage, like, white
They're
Jackson.
like the white Jackson.
Yeah. No Jackson 5, like, representation. There's, like, one zombie Jackson from through where it's, like, an actual zombie. It's, like, chained up. Like, afraid
He's not
of
even
him.
like in a containment room. He's just chained up like in the main space.
Everyone's gonna, like, moonwalk around him. The thing is, like the Jacksons, they're not, like, dumb enough to, like, crash the moon or, like, do anything too particularly stupid. It's just that they're, like, too invested in making dumb noises and, like, dancing to really get anything done. You know, the Elvises can actually, like, hold court, but it doesn't matter because they're, like, so easily distracted and so helpless that, like, they can't get anything effective done. I still want to know how they've not, like, selected a leader.
The Elvis?
Yeah.
Well, there can only be one king, and we're never gonna fucking agree on who that one is, so...
Like, there wasn't one Elvis that happened to be, like, slightly bigger than the others. Like, there wasn't any primal hierarchy. Somehow each and every one was, like, just as equally dumb as the rest. Sad to think about. This was not just, like, one Elvis is, like, an inch taller than the rest, and they, like, look up to him as, like, a god king.
He's not even actually an inch taller, just like his fucking, like, pompadour is slightly bigger, so they think that he's bigger.
I'm gonna... like, Mr. Presley, what do you bring to the table as being the leader of the Graceland League of Elvi? I can throw out a banana. I can throw out a banana.
Watch this.
Watch this. I can throw out a banana. Oil. He just, like, swallows it whole. Like, fucking... like, unpeeled. Starts choking on it. So he just big belly flops and fires it out of his mouth.
He stands up. He just stands there and looks at everyone. It doesn't, like, do anything.
The other Elvises are, like, nodding their heads in, like, appreciation.
Are you okay? Say something. He's just sitting there, silent.
Slowly
As
turning
his
blue.
face is like turning blue. Oh, let's get back to the meeting.
Go back to the emergency meeting. I'm thinking the white suit's out, the black one's back in. All agree and say, oh.
And the the leader just drops.
What's his problem?
You liked my idea so much he fainted. So I guess that's one yes.
I guess I get dibs on his brain. And whoever eats his brains gets his powers.
Where's my big titty bimbo to give me my skull crushing rock?
There's been a severe lack of pussy on this ship.
So fuck that sausage fest up here. We need more hot ass.
Maybe some particularly hot Elvi.
I think we need to send a raiding party to go get some more women.
It's like they go into like another universe, and they manage to find like the one where everyone on Earth is just like a man.
Damn.
Like, how did they even get like that big titty like bimbo in the first place?
I don't know, she was a groupie.
Like, it's about like the computer. Like they don't have any robot servants.
I like something that I could really push my weight into. And something that squishes and bounces back. You know what I mean?
You know what I mean?
Whatever, but I gotta go take a Mondo, dude. You know what I'm saying? I'll be right back.
Oh, can I watch? Can I watch? Can I watch? Can I watch? Sure, anything for my family.
He's like sitting on the bowl. He's like grabbing at his knees, like blood from like his fingertips digging into his knees. He's screaming, head's like rolling back left and right. As like 1 inch of like black turd is like peeking out of his butt. And everyone's like channeling, push, push, push.
And suddenly it falls out about half an inch later. Doink! And then he collapses on all fours, ass sticking up into the air.
Like when Elvis like instantly taking his pants off, like ready to like have his way with them.
I haven't had sex in forever. Well, better to fuck than the can.
The other one's like, I wonder what that poop was like, and one just like flushes the bowl, just like fuck him over.
You motherfucker! I'm gonna kill you!
You motherfucker! I'm gonna kill you! Pushes his head down beneath the fucking toilet seat, starts bashing his brains out with the toilet lid. I'm gonna kill you! I'm gonna kill you! Here it comes! He's like already dead. Here it comes! Here comes the killing blow! Flatters his brains on the fucking stall. He just like licks them off the wall.
Crazy.
You gotta like stop ourselves. You gotta like preemptively call it closed to this one.
Going around in circles.
It's like too much. That's like the mark of a truly fucked up bender. I need to see if I can end this one now. Fucking close.